Insidious. Is the further real? The further is a world far beyond our own, yet it's all around us, a place without time as we know it. Elise Rayner explains in 2011 occult horror film Insidious. It's a dark realm filled with the tortured souls of the dead, a place not meant for the living. Director James Wan saw the astral world through the eyes of fear. It was how he was able to evoke the most terror from the nether regions of soul and thought. Horror films have made a spiritual ghetto out of the universe which lies between dream, sleep, and death. They focused on the malevolent realm of incubi, succub, and red lipstick faced demon. The map to the further is not limited to shadowy studies. Many mystical practices are divided into black and white magic out of fear and superstition, but there can be room for both. Insidious starts off like a fairly typical haunted house movie. It opens shortly after Renee and Josh Lambert, played by Rose and Patrick, move into a spooky new house with their 3 children. When the property progresses from ominous to hazardous, the family move into an even spookier house, fire their real estate broker, and contact an astral travel agent. The psychically gifted supernatural expert, Shais Elise, explains the hauntings are not a feature of the multiple houses, but the result of a family member embarking on nocturnal astral projection missions which he believes are dreams. The concept that soul can leave the body during the dream state is ancient. But for all the cosmic intelligence curled from of out-of-body incidences, practitioners have found no way to scientifically measure if a spirit leaves or enters a body. It is a concept rejected by scientists but beloved by filmmakers and other artists. In the film, the first person to put the notes together is Renee, the mother of a young Dalton who falls into a mysterious coma early in the first act. Renee, who is a songwriter, experiences 2 initial contacts. The first come in a box of a missing sheet music. Musicians have always been pioneers when it comes to grey areas of society and spirituality. Among true believers, the further is also called Ling Sharir, Akash, and Prana, but it is probably best known as the astral plane, a shallow tag in itself. The term astral plane is a poetic description at the best, or more accurately, misnomer, says Zina, a Tibetan tantric Buddhist yogini, an iconic occult authority and artist. When our consciousness peers into the wheel of our ordinary, there are infinite other realities one might experience, not just one astral plane. In Insidious, the paranormal hunting psychic, Elise explained that Dalton is a traveler who was born with the ability to pierce the veil. Everybody possesses the potential for astral projection, Zena says. It's a natural part of being human, just as many other metaphysical or paranormal experiences can naturally occur, but the ability to actualize it is relatively rare, and the side effects from the occurrences vary greatly depending on many factors. Rebecca Halliday, an occult writer, scholar, and lifelong practitioner and witch, describes astral projection as working on the inner plane of consciousness. In terms of dimensions, this would be considered fifth dimension or above. Journeying is work within the physical, earthly realm, which is 3 dimensional. Certain practices are believed to breach these dimensions. Astral projection during deep states of unconsciousness like sleeping, fainting, or coma could be achieved by a master of such techniques, Zina says. For one who's trained most of their life in the esoteric method of willed astral projection and has become highly skilled in the ability to focus the mind under all circumstances, then deep states of unconsciousness wouldn't impede their ability. The cinematic spiritualist doesn't believe Dalton fell into a coma because he slipped off a ladder in a creepy attic. Elise believes the boy, being only a child, couldn't tell the astral projection from a dream and had no fear about going too far. The further looks like your surroundings, but a different lightning shade of it, says Emmy Rose, a psychotherapist, founder of a Paragon Solstice. You can see yourself. Rose finds that Insidious depicts the astral plane in similar levels. It is similar in respect to the idea of a physical mirror image of your waking life. Your surroundings around you as you sleep are remarkably similar. The difference in the state of consciousness you are now in can shape and change that experience that exists out of time and space. Because of the familiarity and relative comfort of these projected surroundings, Dalton gets lost into his adventures, leaving only a lifeless body behind. Elise, a veteran soul traveler herself in the movie, is ever mindful of the dangers. It all amounts to a very literal translation of Eastern philosophical contemplations. The Buddhist meditation practice, Maranasti, is constant remembering that death can strike any time. Thukadam is a Buddhist phenomenon in which a realized master's consciousness remains in the body despite physical death. While this isn't what is happening with the young Dalton, he is plugged into medical sensors which during at least one frightening pop-up flatline. Practitioners and researchers are divided on whether it is possible to slip away and die during astral travel. There is a risk that could happen if done incorrectly, Zina tells us. Christina Saika, who is a metaphysics and meditation teacher and filmmaker, as well as a fellow astral traveler facilitator, disagrees. No one dies in the astral travel, Saika says. There is a silver cord which is always connected with our etheric body. When you astral travel, you are always aware of what is happening in the earthly dimension with your body. It's an intentional out of body experience. You can come back to your physical body whenever you decide. In Vaughn's film, tormented souls vie against demonic forces for the chance to possess Dalton. Possession is a horror film mainstay, and Insidious offers an interesting alternative arc to the usual spectral evictions enforced by Hollywood. But is it possible for an entity to take over a body during astral trip? If done incorrectly, yes, Zina tells us. It is also something which can be done with intent. In ceremonial magic, this is the entire purpose of entering in the inner planes, says Halliday. It turns out Dalton isn't the only traveler in the Insidious family. He gets it from his father, who was terrorized by the spirit of an old woman during his childhood. Josh suppressed the memory, but Alice opens old wounds and the new ones for the patriarch. She hypnotizes Josh, triggering his long resting phantasmal dislocation, and sends him into the further to find his son and bring him back. Zena confirms people can be guided through the experience, but insists it's a very delicate process requiring a qualified teacher from reputable metaphysical lineages that specializes in that. And even then, astral projection or directing one's consciousness is not the main goal, but rather a way to gauge preparedness for more advanced training on the path towards spiritual enlightenment. When done improperly, the results of attempting astral projection simply for experimentation, entertainment, or curiosity can be disastrous. The film presents a cinematically dark alternative to the physical plane, another world of unlocked doors and an overarching feeling of dread. Insidious doesn't imply the further is hell, but it does look like one of the many highways AC or DC bypassed. They gave the darker energies too much power in the movie, says Emmy Rose. In the astral plane, we always have a balanced choice to engage on a subconscious or a conscious level. On a conscious level, you can power your will, create scenarios. Josh's first encounter in the further is with the crying woman, not the most inviting of hosts. Citizens in Insidious cinematic spectral realm include the spirits of a family doomed to relive their violent deaths on a spectral loop. A long-haired, leather-jacketed ghoul with a sex-faint tongue and mischievous little boy. At its center is the lipstick-faced demon. It is tall with horns, pointed ears, snake eyes, spidery fingers, and hooves for feet. Its skin is black as a night sky. Its eyes are blacker holes. When one has a mind-expanding experience through any number of means, whether astral projection, meditation, or psychedelics, one encounters infinite types of beings. Zena says, recently deceased beings we know in a former incarnation but recognize in their new reincarnated state, celestial beings, demon and hell beings, mythological or magical beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, gods and demigods. They are all among the usual suspects. But what can you encounter is also a contingent on who you call. It all depends on the law of polarity. Saika says, if you project fear, you will encounter energy, vampires, and evil entities. Halliday agrees that there are other entities in the astral planes, but says, I have never personally met other travelers, only those I have astraled with. The red faced demon never speaks in the film, but it has, however, spoken with Josh's mother, Lorraine, in her dreams, which also appear to be a part of special class lucid dreaming. Astral traveling is a combination of Insidious and Inception, says Amy Rose. Inception is technically about lucid dreaming. Leonardo DiCaprio's character Dom is technically aided to enter dreams to steal information or implant ideas. It is often mistaken for astral travel, but not usually weaponized in the way that film presents it. The different practices are often mistakenly considered interchangeable but are quite different. With astral projection, one is sending one's consciousness either in part or fully away from their body to designated place or realm in this world or others for a particular purpose. Zena explains. In the overall arc of the Insidious franchise, the further is much vaster than originally imagined, and the source and the tool of mystical workings. Though a fan of the film, Rose thought Insidious focused too much on the shadow side of the astral plane. The movie portrayed the astral world as a scary place only with the negative entities waiting to take over your body. So many more things occur in our dream world that we can conceive beyond bad scenarios. It is where we can conduct unfinished business, live out fantasies, replay or recreate scenarios, and travel to the places we cannot do in our waking life. Insidious isn't the first film to venture beyond physical realm, but its ongoing franchise is the proof of inner universes expanding. To conclude, we can see that astral plane or the other dimension is not completely accepted by the scientists, but there are people who follow the witch tradition, who are into the black magic, white magic, or who are into the spirituality. They do understand what the third dimension, the other world, or the further means, and they completely believe in that one can take his spirit out of his body and let the spirit travel into the world that is among us but different than our physical world. So the astral plane is true for some and it is just a fantasy for others. Let us know what you think about it in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.